How are we feeling, Leeds fans? Top of the table, as I record this anyway. Are we feeling good? We should be feeling good. Today, I'll bring you a few bits of news, few bit of numbers for after the game yesterday, which helped us ascend to the top of the table. Besiktas want Junior Firpo. How likely is a deal in January or maybe come the summertime? And also want to clarify something on Mateo Joseph from the match reaction yesterday and how Tanaka's stock continues to rise. So people, before I get into this news update, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, drop your thoughts and comments below. Thank you to David Lowe, William Morrison, and Mr. P for the super thanks on yesterday's video. Much appreciated, guys. Salute to you and salute to all the members of my channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. Nigel in the house. Morning, KG. Still buzzing from last night. Yeah, man, really good in terms of everything that went on last night. Like I say, it wasn't like a complete performance, but it's how we dug it out. It's how the quality shone through. And that's how you get victories in this division. That's how you get promoted. And obviously, that is the name of the game for everybody at the football club. And Daniel Farke himself said so. So let's get into this. I'm going to try and keep this brief. Let's see how that goes, right? Farke did give praise to Middlesbrough for having a go at Leeds in what was a tight contest. He's very proud for regaining the lead and deservedly winning the game. Byram is okay despite being subbed. And yeah, Danny Farke was speaking about that. And I said that in the match reaction yesterday. Even though Middlesbrough did defend deep, it's not like they just defended in like rigid blocks. They were quite open. They were looking to hit us on the counter, which led to gaps being open and us creating chances. And it was good to see. Obviously, it benefits us because then we have the players to punish that. But just in comparison to other games where it's been slow plodding at Ellen Road as we try and break teams down, this one was a little bit of a more open affair. Farke continued as well. He had a special mention for Meslier, who stayed focused to make big saves in key moments. Reveals how Meslier has been doing extra training sessions with keeper coach Ed Wooten. I'm not going to say too much on this, but this kind of like magnifies the need for us to get a new goalkeeper, and the fact that yes, and I said this on the match reaction too, so please go back and watch that one. Meslier did, make some key saves in the game, especially after we conceded the goal. But it's like the bare minimum for me. I don't think the performance from Meslier was anything special. I still feel his distribution put us on the back foot a couple of times as well. But that just shows you just how low the bar is for this guy to get praise like this from the manager, where he's done. The Ben Doak one was really good, because otherwise, if he doesn't rush out, maybe Ben Doak goes in and scores. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me. And a few of you did say that Meslier played really well last night. But again, I think that just shows you just where the bar is for Eli Meslier. But look, he did come up for us in a big, and I'm going to give him credit for that. But yeah, all good. Ming in the house saying, hey, KG, the morning after the night before, excellent. Yeah, man, great time. Let's John. Yeah, this is probably it. By Meslier standards, it was a 10 performance. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's just I don't get confused by it. It's just like, damn, is that the bar that we've got for a goalkeeper? Anytime he does anything good, he's gonna get extra credit. But fairs. Speaking of credit where it's due, Danny Farke was very happy for Dan James to score on his 100th appearance for Leeds. Said his finishing has improved this season, and despite missing the odd chance, his maturity shines through to show he keeps going to eventually find the net, which is exactly what I've been saying about Dan James since we've come down. This isn't a guy that lets his head drop if he misses a chance. He can miss 3 chances, Dan James. You best believe he will be there for the 4th one. He's not hiding. And that's what I do love about the determination of Dan James. And at this level, with his ability, he will get his cookies, as the saying goes. He will get them. And listen, just another thing on Dan James, another little note. This is via Johnny Cooper. Leeds United's last 16 games when Dan James has scored, all W's. So there you go. He's our lucky charm in that way, where he kind of sets the tone, kind of thing. If he scores, we win, and let's keep that going. We'll say from the Middlesbrough side, Michael Carrick, he was disappointed with the result, felt that the performance deserved better, and he was asked, of course, as they always asked, are Leeds United the best team in the Championship? He says that we're a good team with Premier League players, but it's not for me to say if they're the strongest. And I saw where he said it. He's like, I don't care about that. You know what I mean? And I completely get it. He's focused on Middlesbrough. He's focused on trying to get the best out of Middlesbrough. He don't care about who's the best team. But yeah, I do understand his point to a certain degree, because I do feel that Middlesbrough in the second half in particular were picking up the pace. They were opening us up a little bit more. And obviously there was the penalty shout where, if that's at the other end, we're screaming for a penalty. So we did get away with one. But look, when you do have the quality that we have and the options that we have off the bench, it's eventual that if you don't take your chances, if you don't, take your chances against us, we will punish you. So yeah, that's the way it is. John H saying, to be fair to Farke, he's turned DJ into a killer in the final third. Yeah, I mean, listen, it does come down to coaching. And I also think it comes down to just where Dan James is in his career right now. Even in his first stint at Swansea, it was basically all engine and no brakes, wasn't it? You could see what at the time Bielsa was looking to work with at that point, and you can see why Man United eventually did buy him. But I don't think his game had come together by then. This is the best version of Dan James for me, and it has been since we've been relegated. I just feel like this is the level that he can operate at. It suits him. The defending obviously isn't as good down here as it is in the Prem. He is going to get chance after chance, whereas in the Prem, if he misses one, it's pretty much going to be it at that level, especially if you're not in a better team. And I just feel like his composure, his all-round game is a lot more measured. The pace is still there, but I feel like even though the final third can be frustrating for people at times, I feel like it's improved tenfold. I do. I feel like it's gotten much better since we've been relegated. So nothing but props for Dan James. That finish yesterday was beautiful. And bear in mind, that finish was literally like 30 seconds, 40 seconds after he put one in Dieng's arms before. Just beautiful, man. Beautiful. Matt saying here, I think this version of Dan James can do well in the Prem. We shall see. We shall see, Matt. But that's a conversation for the summer. We'll leave that one for the summer. But yeah, I understand what people are saying, but I do have to just keep on pointing this out to people. If you do watch Premier League football, you'll recognize the levels. It's completely different, people. It's completely different. Just the way that you don't get the space where you're going to be up against fullbacks that will be able to handle you. It's a completely different level. So if you're not maintaining your composure at the Premier League level, like last night, if he misses that one, the first one in the Prem, he's not getting that one 40 seconds later to put it in the top corner. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't happen like that in the Premier League. So you have to be more efficient in the Premier League compared to the Championship. But listen, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, man. Yeah, I'm back, Carly. I'm back. So there is that on that. He also did have a note on Joe Rodon. He said in jest, but we've heard this before when it comes to our Welsh guys. Joe Rodon, he said there was no chance of him coming off after picking up a nasty bruise during the second half. He is a warrior by passport, according to the manager, and he said it as he always does with the Welsh guys. The Welsh steel, as he always says. But Joe Rodon, I did think he was going to have to come off at some point, but we've seen this before with Joe, man. He limps through, he'll come through, and he will start against Preston. I have no doubt about it. Whereas Joe Rothwell, there might be a question mark whether he's going to be fit enough to play or even make the bench, because he did go down a couple times. Joe Rodon will just wrap it up, put some icy hot on it, and he'll be back for Preston. I've got no doubts about that. But yeah, listen, and just on the Welsh people as well, once again, brilliant to see Ethan Ampadu back and look getting his match fitness up at such an early stage of his recovery, man. Just made a different stuff, isn't he? And that is our captain. Matt just going on about Dan James, or at least he will be a very decent bench option. Yeah, that would probably be it if we're gonna go up. But again, I want to save that for the summer. For the summer, man. Let's go. So where are we next? Oh, and just a couple of numbers, and this is via LUFC data. Shout out to him as always. Leeds last 8 championship matches at Ellen Road. Games 8, won 8, goals 20, conceded 2, clean sheets 6. Games scored first 8 out of 8, points won 24 out of 24. Keep that up, and you're halfway there. It's the away form that we've got to turn around. And it's funny because a Sheffield United fan was saying to me, I don't understand why Leeds fans go on at Daniel Farke when it looks like you're playing well, you're currently top of the league, don't get the thing. But the thing is, for me, is that we should be top of the league, but we should be top of the league by more points. And that's where the difference comes in. And if we just fix our away form, sort it out, even improve it by say 50%, then we will be where I think we should. Because when you saw the substitutes come on for us last night, even I, as a Leeds fan, was thinking, this isn't fair. This isn't fair at this level. We shouldn't be able to take Nonto off and bring on Manor Solomon. That's crazy. And that's the point that I was trying to make to the Sheffield United fan. It's I said to him, think of it like when Chris Wilder came to Ellen Road and took out Raksaki for the game and put in an extra defender. How we perform away from home is nowhere near how we do it at Ellen Road. It's night and day, especially on the early kickoffs, which we do have this Saturday. So that's where I said that's where the question marks come in for Daniel Farke in terms of just the consistency of the point total. Don in the house saying, proud to be Welsh and a Leeds fan. Shout out to you, man. So yeah, there is that. And just another one as well with Daniel Farke. Yet again, it's a good stat to have. So when we score first, games 31, games 34, 131, drawn 3, lost 0, goals 78, conceded 11, clean sheets 25, points 1, 96 out of 102. So that's what I'm saying, man. If we score first, it's basically game over. It's basically game over. And Nigel here just saying, don't want to see our midfield being broken up. Hey, listen, those conversations will have to be had in due course, but someone is dropping out. Okay, Ampadu isn't coming back to sit on the bench. Daniel Farke wants him back in the first team. And it's also someone else mentioned in the comment, why can't we play 3 in midfield? Well, people, I'd like to introduce you to Daniel Farke. Okay, that's why we won't play 3 midfield. Much like why we don't play 2 up front. When if we played 2 up front in this division, it'd be over for a lot of teams. Let's be real. But yeah, we'll talk about that when the team sheets do change eventually. Anyway, Ampadu is still working his way back up to match fitness, so I don't think it's anything immediate at the moment. Junior Firpo, let's talk about that. That's all the games, news, and notes from yesterday. Well, actually, I've got to talk about Mateo Joseph and just clarify comments I made yesterday. But Junior Firpo does have interest from Turkish side Besiktas, and it looks like they were looking for a January move for the wing back. And with him having basically now 6 months left on his deal, there's no certainty that Junior Firpo will stay. I think it's more controlled by Junior Firpo at this stage than it is Leeds United. Obviously, we can always reject bids for a January move, but then he can sign to go in the summer. And obviously, he's injured right now, so I don't know how interested Besiktas are at doing a deal for January at this stage, because he's due to be back, say, second week in January. So maybe that won't be good enough for them. Maybe they'll move on. But I do see stories like this cropping up even more for Junior Firpo. I think there's going to be interest from Spain, but I do also see like these kind of leagues, the Portuguese leagues, Turkish leagues. I see these guys looking in for it, maybe even the Belgian leagues coming in for Junior Firpo. Is there a deal to be done? I don't know, people. What say you? Because I do like, again, Max Verber tailed off in the second half, but that's probably just due to match fitness. But Max Verber at left back, for me, I'm comfortable. I know he leaves seismic gaps at left back at times, but that will come with more match fitness, match practice. But Junior Firpo, for me, like I say, a couple of you disagree, but I do think it would suit all parties if he departs in the summer. There's no need for a new contract for this player, especially at the Premier League level. But if there's a deal to be done in January and Leeds United are eyeing other players, and we've already heard other names, I haven't talked about them too much on here, but Leeds have been linked with a couple of left backs already for January, which is kind of damning on Isaac Schmidt as well. I do think that there could be a possibility of Junior Firpo leaving if the deal is right. If we're offered a decent enough sum at that stage, which will help fund another left back, I think that we a deal is there to be done. What we saying, people? Low D is saying very happy for Firpo and Meslier to move on in January. Tremendous. Matt saying Firpo will leave for free in the summer. I'm more on that. I'm more on that. I think it's going to be more of a summer move, but you just never know. You just never know, especially when you're a championship team and a player has got, at the stage it will be 6 months left. You just don't know. Especially if there's no indications of a new contract at Leeds, which again, there shouldn't be. I'm afraid there shouldn't. But listen, Junior Firpo, it's going to be an interesting story. There's going to be more that's going to come out about Junior in terms of if he's going to stay the rest of the season, if he's going to pre-sign a contract. What I think the ideal for me, what I would prefer is if if Junior Firpo signs a pre-contract and we know he's going to go. And I think it would just be good for all parties. I do. I think it's going to be one of those where Junior Firpo announces he will leave in the summer, but I'm going to give it my all until the end of the season. I'd love that because I would love Junior Firpo to be here at this level as another option. But if Max Verber continues to play well, Junior's going to have a bit of a battle on his hand to come back in because Danny Farke didn't say anything in this way, but, just in the way that Junior Firpo was rusty on that first game where he came back, he was damning in saying that it was Firpo's fault for being out for so long after that stupid red card, that retrospective red card. Lodi asking here, how much do you think we could get for him if he signs a new deal? I mean, this was asked before, Lodi, in terms of should we give him a new deal to get value on the player? My argument against that is, if we go up to when we go up to the Premier League, and if Junior Firpo puts on the classes that I think he will put on, because we're not going to be on the front foot when we go up, it's going to be completely different. We're going to be defending more. And even at this level, he's been found wanting against teams like Rotherham and Birmingham last season, or whenever it was. And it's kind of like, ooh, if you like this here, what about when you're up against like Anthony Gordon and these kind of players here, Neto and all these guys? If we sign him to a new contract and he doesn't perform, then what little value are you going to get? That's why I think it would just be best for all parties in the summer if he does leave. Now, we've been linked with Dennis Serkin from Sunderland. I don't know how willing they are to do a deal in January. He's a good player. He's someone I've looked at before, actually. Does have a bit of an injury record where he doesn't play consecutive games for so long, but he's a good player. And you just wonder if you're giving me an option for that and Junior Firpo leaves in January, I'm more than happy. You know what I mean? So, but we shall see. We shall see, man. In terms of Junior Firpo, what say you though? Just in the comments, would you sign him to a new contract? If you would, let me know. Would you sell him in January if we get a replacement, or do you think he should leave at the end of the season? Speaking of someone whose stock is rising, and again, this is via LUFC data, and I did mention his performance yesterday and how Tanaka. The secret is out. Let me just get a sip of drink. This player is no longer a secret, but he's not going anywhere in January. That's not going to happen. But what I will say is that there are clubs and fans of clubs in particular that are circling the how Tanaka train. And last night's performance for me was that was one of his better performances, and that's a good bar because he's had a lot of really good performances, but he was just everywhere. And I said it yesterday, and it's not an exaggeration, but it was Kante-like, the way that he was just everywhere, where he was covering for Verber, where he was cleaning up in front of the defense, and then his creative play on top of it. I mean, he was literally the catalyst for the third goal. His tackle, his run, his pass was the reason why we got the third goal. It was just an all-round performance. I would love for him to have capped it off with a goal. But his performances are just not going under the radar. His agent has already spoken up, and we've spoken about that before, about he could play in the Premier League. There's fans of Premier League teams that I know of that are looking at him going, we could do with this guy in midfield. He is somebody who, where people talk about Dan James earlier, I do feel Tanaka has got the Premier League goods, just purely because of the way that he plays. He's not rushed on the ball. He's very composed. His tackling is very clean as well, considering that he does not dive in, but he does slide tackle quite a bit. And he's very, very thorough with that. And I do feel that his game in particular, like with Ethan Ampadu for me, can translate to Premier League football. And that's not the concern, because I do feel, unlike, when Sheffield United went up, was it a couple of years ago, and they lost both Njai and Sander Berg. If we go up, we're keeping Tanaka. I don't think, unless he's getting an unbelievable offer from a Champions League team or Europa League team or one of those kind of teams, then I believe he stays. I do. I feel he stays here. But I'm just saying to you guys, Tanaka, the word is out there. You know what I mean? People are wondering why Leeds United got such a bargain at 3 million, and he's doing excellent, man. Absolutely, Matt. How we got how for 3.5 is a joke. Absolute steal. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it, when it works out like that? Much like the Rafinha one for just 17 million. Absolute bargain. 17 million these days doesn't even pay for a backup left back, in the Prem sometimes. So yeah, absolutely brilliant for how. And the value, the stock is all going up. But what I want is him to continue here. I want him to be on the ascension with this football club. And if he continues in the vein that he is, it's going to be a beautiful relationship between us and Tanaka. But as we've already seen with his agent's probably eyeing the next level up. So it's imperative. I mean, just like for many reasons, but not just for Tanaka, but for this football club on a whole, it's imperative that we do get promoted this season, people. And just on one last note from last night's game, a few of you in the comments thought I was being harsh with Mateo Joseph, and I found it very surprising because I don't watch my stuff back, but I did go back and watch what I said, and it just seems to be that kind of thing where if you're not giving all praise for everyone because we've won a game, that you're being harsh or you're being too picky. But the thing with Mateo Joseph, I'm a Joseph guy. Listen, Joseph is hungry to score goals. He told me. You know what I mean? He's hungry to get back in the goal column. And this is the thing. I rate Mateo Joseph up to the ability that I believe he has. And when you're measuring the games from earlier in the season, where even when he wasn't scoring goals, he was heavily involved in the build-up. It would be his pressing from the front or his tracking back in midfield that would set moves up. In comparison to those in last night, it wasn't a performance up to par for that. And that's okay. As I said in the match reaction yesterday, there's going to be teething problems with a striker that's playing his first full season at senior level, and especially for a size of a club like Leeds United. And there was nothing wrong with that. His hold-up play, his link-up play was good. I said that as well. But I've said on here for many weeks, we can't really criticize Peru and Joseph for missing chances when they're not getting any chances to miss. And I've said that repeatedly because people are saying we're not getting enough goals from our forwards. But yesterday, there were opportunities for a player like Joseph to get in on the goals, like the one where Dan James puts it across. I expect Mateo Joseph to be on the end of that. He should be on the end of that. And that's what I was saying. So all his all-round game was fine. I did think he was looking a little heavy-footed in the game as well. Don't think he was moving. If you watch yesterday's performance compared to the earlier in the season where Mateo Joseph was just moving freely, fine, looking fully confident, it's night and day. But I'm not saying drop Mateo Joseph. I'm saying put him in again against Preston because he needs a run of games to get his confidence back. That's all it needs. That's all he needs in that. Scott here, Joseph lacked anticipation. Yeah, and that's what I expect from Mateo. That's what you see of him earlier in the season. That's what you saw of him in preseason. That's what you see of him in Spain under 21s. He'd anticipate that move where Dan James put it across and he just knock it in. Cash money, it should be. And he wasn't there. Where I've been critical of the other players for not putting it in those areas. So when the ball does get there, I want my striker to be there. But look, I've got let me just say this again for people that thought I was overly critical. I've got zero concerns about Mateo Joseph up front. I just feel that he just needs a goal to get that to get his confidence back, go on a run. Not saying he's going to be goal per game, but all it takes is just one to go in the back of the net, and he will go on from there. Because even when he's not scoring earlier in the season, he was a heavy component of our build-up. And yes, he was pressing yesterday very well in terms of the centre backs, but he wants to score goals. Mateo Joseph isn't one where if he ends up in a season with 4 goals, he'll be satisfied with that. Yes, it's a team game first, but he wants to score. This guy's heroes is players like Fernando Torres. These aren't your Noah Hunts of the world. All right, he wants to score goals. So that's all I was saying in terms of Mateo Joseph's performance yesterday. But he will get better. That's it. That's it. Let's have a look. Yeah, Scott. This is it as well. That was the point I was trying to make as well yesterday, because the chances did come. Even Max Verber put one across, and there was no one on the end of it, so it looked like a bad ball, but it really wasn't a bad ball. But Scott here saying we play in a way that the strikers rarely receive the ball. You just look at our goal, the way that we're scoring goals. We're the top scorers in the division, and all our goals are spread out. The game previous to one last night, it was 2 defenders. It's Joe Rodon, Max Verber, it's Willie Nonto, and Dan James. Our goals are spread out, but Scott is absolutely right here. In totality over the season, our strikers don't get enough chances for us to go, now we need a new striker in January. That's why I don't really go on about it. Now, if you can get rid of Bamford and get in a new forward, I'm all with that. I'm with you guys 100%. But if you're talking about efficiency, the strikers don't get enough shots to say that they're flopping or they're not good enough. They're not. But yesterday, I do feel that Joseph could have got on the end of one, but it will come. It will come, and that's all I want to. That's all I was saying, people. That's all I was saying. But you're not. But what I would also add to that is you're not doing anyone any favors overhyping performances that aren't completely to satisfaction, even to the player. That's what I would say. So just keep the bar high, and when Joseph does get on the score sheet, you'll see a more confident one. You will, and I've got no doubts about that. Dunn here saying Willie showing strikers instinct for the first goal. Yeah, 100. And Carl here saying nice to see how we can battle. Yeah, it was a battle yesterday, but that's what it takes in this division, and we know that. We know that's what it takes to get the job done. It's not always going to be pretty. Like I said in the comment yesterday, someone said they were pretty nervous about the game. I said it's not always going to be pretty, but the quality that we have should and will shine through. But now it's over to Sheffield United, people. They're away at Millwall tonight. Last game for Neil Harris set the den as manager there. Will Millwall want to give him a good send-off? I hope so. Because I do. I want us to secure a top 2 spot, and I want us to build a gap. I want us to build a gap and run away. And with the next 2 games that we have, we've got an opportunity to get 6 points. I think it's Preston away, and I believe it's Oxford at home. Don't quote me on that second one, but either way, it's a very winnable fixture. And I do feel that we should get the job done in the next 2 games. But listen, we'll talk about the Preston game in the preview. That is it for the video today. I did say I want to go 15 minutes, but I've gone 10 over. We've gone in extra time, people. No problem. But listen, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope I've clarified a few comments from yesterday and added a few numbers from yesterday's game as well, along with the comments. Junior Firpo, give me your thoughts about that. Like the video before you go. Drop your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.